Welcome. Today we're going to be talking about our latest product offerings. We're going to be talking about recent developments and upcoming features across our compliance and learning tools. My name is Shmuley. I'm Head of AI and CMO here at VinciWorks, and we're going to be taking a look at some of our solutions, as we mentioned, that help you stay ahead with your compliance training needs. Joining us today on our adventures are Alyssa Redson, Chief Product Officer for Courses.
Hi, everyone.
And rounding out the panel, we have Ruth Mittleman-Cohen, who's Head of Legal Compliance, who'll be talking to us about Omnitrack and the Astute LMX.
Hi, Shmuley. Thanks for having me today.
Perfect. So today we'll be covering a wide range of topics, really covering the full spectrum of everything we offer, from training to compliance to automation, workflows, and everything else. We're going to be spending a little bit of time talking about what we've recently launched in our courses, conversational learning, the Portal product platform, Astute, and Omnitrack. And for each one of these, we're going to be talking a little bit more about what's coming next as well. So we'll be covering the full gamut of our offerings. The most important thing to say here, and this is critical, is that we wouldn't be able to offer any of these without product feedback. Your continual feedback for us is absolutely what we've built these products on. In fact, we often don't consider ourselves building products for customers, but we like to consider that we build products with customers. So I wanted to start off by thanking everyone here, everyone who's given us feedback, anyone who's been down the journey with us until now and looking forward to many more years to come, for helping to shape what the next generation of compliance and e-learning solutions look like. And as always, we continue to welcome your feedback. In fact, the best way for you to give us that feedback, if you would like, is to join our customer advisory board. Essentially, the customer advisory board is the place to help us shape both the existing products and the new products which are coming out. And we also work very hard with our customer advisory board members to enhance their profile and enhance their company's industry recognition. This can involve no more than 1 or 2 phone calls a year. So there's not a large time commitment at all. And during those 1 or 2 calls, we'll be asking you for strategic insights on upcoming features. We're going to be asking you if you'd like to test or refine some of our solutions. We could be asking you to give references to analysts or journalists or media. And what many times comes from that is co-applying for industry awards, for recognition. It could be you personally, it could be your business. And it's an amazing way for us to say to the rest of the industry that you are a true leader in the space. Moving on, we have a lot of upcoming webinars over the next few weeks and months. Obviously, all of these webinars are welcome for you to attend. We want to pick out 1 or 2 highlights. So a key one for us is our AI and data protection one, which is going to be towards the end of the month on a Wednesday when all of our webinars are. We're also going to be doing a webinar middle of March on how to audit risk in your law firm. And then towards the end of March, we have one on the Employment Rights Act, explaining it properly and seeing what it means for your business. So these are the upcoming webinars. We'd love to see you all at 1 or more of them over the next few months. So let's start by diving into courses. Alyssa, I'm going to ask you to set the scene for us, and I'm putting you on the spot here. But what are the latest and greatest releases from the last 6 to 12 months?
Absolutely. And hi, everyone. So a lot of what we've delivered recently has been driven very directly by regulatory change. So we've responded to major developments like the Employment Rights Act, which, as Shmuley mentioned, we've got a webinar coming up on soon, the Data Use and Access Act, making sure that there's clear practical training available as those changes come into force and as guidance develops. We've also been responding to new and sector-specific requirements, including the NHS has now mandated training around anti-racism and anti-Semitism training, which has led to the release of one of our new anti-Semitism courses. Alongside those more regulatory-driven updates, we've also had a number of other key focuses for the team. So we've recently just released a big number of fire safety courses. So we've got I think 5 to 6 new fire safety courses have been added to our library, including updates and design refreshes to the rest of the fire safety topics, with a big focus on real world risk. Another important area to our recent content development has been around our SRA content. So we've released 5 new courses focused around SRA ethics, the SRA code of conduct, and similarly to fire safety, we've done a review of the whole fire safety content, the whole SRA content area, to give clear, more specific, more applied guidance. Beyond those big headline areas, we've continued to roll out a steady stream of smaller targeted updates across the library, which included some very specific health and safety content, as well as ongoing refreshes to just make sure that our training is accurate, is relevant, and ready to use.
So that's a lot of content that we've launched in a few short months. Can you start talking us through how you're thinking about the course roadmap and what we're planning on releasing for the rest of 2026?
Absolutely. So when we're thinking about our roadmap moving forward for 2026, we're starting less with sort of individual courses, and we're thinking really big picture. We keep coming back to a few core questions. What risks are organizations actually facing right now? Where is regulation changing in a meaningful way? And how can we help move beyond training as a tick box exercise into something that's genuinely changing behavior? And those questions were sort of sitting at the forefront of our mind when we were thinking about building out our roadmap for 2026 and the courses we wanted in it.
Perfect. So I think those are very relevant larger themes. What are the tactical drivers which are shaping how this applies to the roadmap itself?
Perfect. So there are 3 big drivers behind it. The first, unsurprisingly, is regulatory change. We're seeing significant movement across areas around financial regulation, cybersecurity, AI, non-financial misconduct. Those have been driven through changes to the FCA conduct rules. There's an upcoming review of the senior managers and certification regime. There's new cybersecurity resilience legislation in both the UK and in the EU. And AI, as I'm sure everyone's aware, has been rapidly evolving and has been shifting in the regulatory landscape. So our team's constantly horizon scanning and watching that space specifically to see if we need to add any regulatory driven content into the library. And that's a core focus for us. The second is relevance and realism. So learners need to be able to recognize risk when it shows up in real situations, not just understand law in theory. And so that's why we're investing heavily in scenario and judgment-based questions and training and applied learning across our entire library. And the third is learning effectiveness. So we're increasingly focused on how confident people feel when they're talking about these concepts, how well they can identify risk when they're presented with it, and whether those learning objectives are actually being met rather than sort of relying purely on a final assessment score. So that's also part of driving our roadmap forward.
Perfect. And practically, how do you think that's going to translate to actual content that's going to be released or refreshed over the next year?
Perfect. In practical terms, it means major updates across key topic areas like FCA, cybersecurity, AI, mental health, bribery, and cultural awareness, with multiple new course releases in each of those specific areas. We're talking refreshed video, new courses, strengthened course material for the content that already exists within those topic areas. We're also developing new courses aligned to emerging expectations, so such as the non-financial misconduct rules, cyber resilience, and continuing to expand industry and role-specific content to that affects the reality of different sectors. Alongside that, we are continuously reviewing and updating courses across the library. As that legislation changes, as guidance develops and enforcement evolves, we are continuing to make updates to those courses. We've continued to do that. So, for example, the Employments and Workplace Training, following the Employment Rights Act, following the Data Use and Access Act, following the Economic Crime and Corporate Transparency Act, all of the courses in those relevant topic areas have been continually kept up to date as those guidance and then enforcement has updated. So clients don't have to track everything themselves. We are doing that for you.
Excellent. So let's move on from the traditional e-learning courses to the conversational learning. Where do you think this is currently changing our training? And I'll be diving into some more on the conversational learning focus later on, but I'd love to hear from your point of view, Alyssa, as kind of with your courses Chief Product Officer hat on, where does this sit in terms of the roadmap moving forward?
So conversational learning is sitting at the heart of the roadmap. Conversational learning isn't just a new format for us. It's a core part of our roadmap moving forward and how we're approaching training more generally. For anyone who hasn't come across it yet, conversational learning courses are an AI-powered training piece, and they very much put learners in the driver's seat of the training. Each experience adapts in real time to the individual taking the course. If someone's unsure or they lack confidence, the course slows down and it helps them unpack the topic in more detail. And if someone already understands the subject, they can move through much more quickly without being held back. What that means in practice is that no two learning experiences are exactly the same, but everyone is being guided through the same learning outcomes. At the same time, while that's happening for the learner, we are able to give administrators much richer insights into how the training is landing. So instead of just seeing a completion score, you can start to see patterns in confidence, understanding how people across the organization are engaging with risk and decision making. These are AI-powered courses that really are changing the way we look and explore gray areas, the way we're testing assumptions, and working through complex topics in a way that feels really natural.
Perfect. So this is something which we launched about the middle of last year. And then towards the end of last year, we actually launched version 2. So we were moving very, very quickly. Version 2, again, contains all those game-changing technologies that Alyssa mentioned. So we are focusing on the course adapting to the learner, the course being much more engaging, the course really genuinely being shifted towards a change in behavior, which means that you, your employees, your company is going to be safer. And with version 2, we actually took that up a level. So we added full course customizations, which means that you can really decide and define what the course says, what's included, what information is included in the course, not just in terms of questions and answers, but how does it talk? How does it speak? How does it act? Are there specific instructions you want to give it in specific cases? Even to the point of uploading your entire policy. So if you have a specific policy around, for example, anti-bribery, we will inject that into the course. So anyone taking an anti-bribery course can ask questions about your policy and see what your policy says as well. We've also built full narration and dictation capabilities. So the conversation is really conversational. And by the same time, we've improved the mobile experience so that when you're on the phone, you can talk to it and it can talk to you. And this helps us be able to roll out these courses to a wide range of learners all over the world that may not have direct access to a laptop. And we are very proud of the fact that our AI is now 100% carbon neutral. So we offset any AI costs and we make sure that we are not in any way harming the environment by running these courses. That was version 2. Then we moved on to version 3 and we did not rest on our laurels at all. Version 3 was launched earlier this year. So you're seeing something fresh, new, and very much live already. Version 3 has a full customizable look and feel. So if you want to change the colors, change the font, change the brand, make it look and feel like a course built for your company, it now no longer speaks like somebody for your company, but it actually looks like that as well. Beyond that, we can build full bespoke courses now on whatever you desire. So if you have a specific internal training that you guys launched, if you have your own code of conduct, if you have your own niche training requirements, we can see the conversational learning almost like a blank canvas that you can take your paintbrush and work with us to build whatever course you want on top of it. It's also now fully multilingual, supports 140 languages. It can change mid-conversation if you want it to, or you can also define for each user what their language should be. And we launched even more courses. I believe we are now up to maybe 18 to 20 courses, and we have new topics being released every single month. This covers the wide gamut from the financial crimes and corporate compliance around anti-bribery and money laundering, to a lot of cybersecurity courses around phishing awareness and online safety, and a wealth of other courses that you can see here today. And this is just the beginning of what we're going to be talking about for conversational learning. And that brings me back to Alyssa. And my next and final question for you is, what's next in conversational learning?
Absolutely. So I just want to start by saying we've gotten tremendously, overwhelmingly positive feedback from the clients who have been using this. And because of that response, we're actively looking to expand conversational learning into even more topics, particularly some of these topics off the back of direct feedback from clients. We're looking like things like bias awareness, conflicts of interest, information security, several more courses around different health and safety concepts, data protection. And we're not just adding more titles, we're continuing to build even more capabilities into the format itself, so this can continue to evolve and become an even more powerful way to deliver learning and understand how it's landing across an organization.
Perfect. And if anyone here wants to learn more about conversational learning, I'll be very honest with you. As good as it sounds, it demos even better. And playing it and using it for the first time is genuinely inspiring, in my opinion. Moving on, let's talk about some of the biggest and most impactful changes in our portal. The VinciWorks Portal is, as many of you know, one place where you go to manage all your content, all your resources, run your edits. Our in-browser editor lives there. Our ability to share with other members of your team and get feedback lives there. And we've made many small continuous updates to it. But earlier, the end of last year, we launched a few new features that we want to talk about. The first one is our Resource Hub. Our Resource Hub is essentially a collection of over 400 high-quality compliance resources all in one place. So this includes the very, very best of our in-house professionally produced videos, again, in-house expert written guides. We've also have a range of templates there, from everything from harassment policies to anti-bribery policies for you to download, adjust. The content is already complete, written and checked by our legal team. So it's just a question of you making it yours, adjusting it to your own requirements. And instead of spending 3 weeks writing a whole brand new policy, you spend an hour reviewing it, make sure you're happy with it, and making it your own. We also have all our webinars, possibly including this one, added to our Resource Hub. So if you want to, at any time in the future, go back to something we mentioned, you can do that. It's not just a question of having all the resources in one place. It also gives you the ability to find what you need and when you need it. You can preview any videos or any guides before you download them, so you know what you're going to be getting. And the search and the smart search functionality that we've built in means that you can find exactly what you need in seconds. Beyond that, this helps you to reinforce and to prove compliance. So once you download a document for us, or once you find a video that you like, you can actually embed that into your learning journey. So you could build a journey for one of your customers, for one of your employees, that starts off with a course, maybe then a 5-minute catch-up course, then watching a video, and then reviewing a policy document at the end. So to be able to embed this into a learning plan, into a learner's journey, means that you are able to really reinforce those messages across the organization. And finally, a lot of the guides and a lot of the templates are intentionally made to be downloadable and customizable. So you can download printable guides, you can download handouts, you can make quick and easy customizations to templates so that you have the documents you need in minutes as opposed to days or weeks. So apart from the new content, Alyssa, that you mentioned earlier, there's also new tools that I know your teams are about working on getting into the portal. Can you talk us through some of those now?
Absolutely. So the first one we're really excited about is AI edit mode. This directly supports something we care deeply about, which is relevance. AI edit mode will be a new panel built directly into edit mode, which is designed to support you while you're editing and customizing courses. So it's a part of our wider commitment to and building training that people can actually see themselves in, rather than content that feels very generic or disconnected from day-to-day reality. So instead of starting from scratch or manually reworking content, you'll be able to use the AI to help you adjust the tone, to tailor the content for different audiences within your organization, different offices within your organization, different jurisdictions, and make structured changes much more quickly and much more confidently. You can upload your own policy documents or internal materials, whatever they might be, and then ask the AI to reference those and embed those across the training piece. It can then make updates throughout based on what you've uploaded into the AI. It means that your course can reflect your language and tone, your process, your expectations. And this is something you can see in a minute as opposed to weeks of back and forth editing with different stakeholders across the team. The goal we had when we were putting this together was we wanted to reduce friction. We wanted to make editing even easier than it is now. We want you to be able to make meaningful customizations so training stays compliant, but it feels genuinely relevant to the people taking it.
So I think when this comes out, this is going to be an absolute game changer. I know another one that your team has been working on is the insights, which I think is also kind of an evolutionary leap forward. Could you talk us through what makes the insights different from traditional LMS reporting of the past?
Absolutely. So this is another big one. Insights is a new feature we're introducing across our content portal, and it's designed to give you deeper understanding of how training courses are actually performing. So rather than stopping at a completion rate or a final test score, what Insights is doing is it's looking across either a specific course or a multitude of courses to show how learning is really landing across your team or your whole organization. That includes things like how confident staff felt about speaking up on certain topics. If something goes wrong, would they speak up? Would they know who to speak up to? How effective learners were at identifying and responding to a risk-based question. If your users were put in a risky situation, do they even know they're in a risky situation? How would they proceed? How would they handle that? And then more deeply looking at individual learning objectives within a topic area. So instead of leaving you with just an 80% on a bribery course, we can drill down into specific learning objectives and say, this concept is understood, this concept was not understood. That might give you the ability to point to specific individuals who are struggling or particular areas of a topic that users are lacking confidence in. This is being built across the library, so it allows you to look at patterns and perceptions across the team, across topics, rather than viewing just each course in isolation. And then over and above all of that, what we can do is we can benchmark that data against wider industry trends. So you can understand whether what you're seeing is unique to just your organization or part of a broader trend and a broader picture. The aim is to move training insights away from a hindsight report and move you towards something that genuinely supports risk management, decision-making, and targeted improvement.
So if you take a step back and I ask you to kind of look at how the resources, look at how insights, look at how AI edit mode is kind of coming together, how would you sum up the roadmap and what it's aiming to achieve across 2026?
Absolutely. So when you look at the roadmap as a whole, it's moving in one clear direction. We want smarter, more realistic content. We want more focus on new learning modalities like conversational learning. We want better tools for editing and customizing, and we want richer insights into what learners know, feel, and do. It's about helping organization move from delivering training and building real capability and reducing risk in a measurable way.
Perfect. There's one more thing in the portal we'd like to talk about today, and this is something which we haven't yet discussed or shared with anyone else, and that is our shift towards building an LMS inside Portal itself. It's really important to state that we have Astute, which is our enterprise-facing LMS. It's an LXP. It is the bells and whistles and everything you could ever need as a medium or large scale L&D team, including very complex workflows, automations, and the like. But what we're looking to build within the portal itself is a single, simple software platform that connects insights that we looked at with the reports and allows you to deploy courses to learners. So this is in no way meant to kind of compete with Astute, but it's meant to complement it for the right users in the right times. Those teams that take full advantage of the Astute features, it's there and it's being continually updated. And Ruth will talk more about Astute today. And Portal LMS is meant for quick deployment, smaller teams with less requirements. The idea is that everything sits inside Portal. So once you're in the VinciWorks portal, you have everything at hand. You can choose the content you want, edit the content you want, and deploy the content you want. As Alyssa mentioned, there'll be in-depth insights alongside with your typical LMS completion reports and other similar information to see everything in one place. We are simplifying the format, and possibly as a first for the industry, we are getting rid of SCORM-induced data loss. And anyone here who's worked with SCORM files over the last decade or two, like many of us have, will understand the frustration which we are hoping to be able to solve there. We're looking to build this importantly as a usable, intuitive, training-forward interface, which will be easy to set up and get running in a couple of minutes. You can set up workflows, you can support flexible teams with flexible roles, and finally, there's going to be a strong amount of visualization, making it easy to see at a glance what you've covered, how compliant your team is, and what gaps you still have to fill. Within the assignment screen itself, we're looking at very useful statistics. Our goal is give you what you want and hide what you don't, so that you are able to work without noise and focus on where the attention needs to be. Here you can very easily prepare and revise training, make any edits before things send out, and have everything in one place. So it's very easy for you to track your assignments, who's been sent what versions of different courses different people have seen, etc. A strong focus for us throughout this is our usability. We are a big proponent of creating tools which feel intuitive to use, and user testing and our CAB members have really gone above and beyond to make sure that we are delivering just that. There are a lot of small tweaks which you wouldn't think of, such as importing multiple users at once and inviting new members, which we want to make as simple and as clean as possible. Everything here should look and feel like a technology for 2026, as opposed to many of the LMSs today that don't quite have that same level of cleanliness. We're looking for everything from multiple filters to enable grouping to really put usability at the forefront of this tool. So in an ideal world, there's little to no learning time when you're in the tool of how everything works. And finally, the key element for us is that everything's in one place. You get content from the portal, you can browse the full content library in the portal, you can get your resources, you can make your course edits, you can share and accept or reject other people's changes, and then deploy, track, and get reports and insights all in one place. We have dedicated training areas within the portal which prioritize due training or incomplete training, and this is critical for us. No more pop-ups. So when you have a learner, they get to see the learner portal, and this is roughly what it looks like in front of you here, but we're still working on the UI. There are no more pop-ups, no more multiple windows, no more multiple tabs. And then you yourself, when you need to do your own training, it's one click between a learning lead role and a learner role to actually take those courses yourself. So again, this is something which is built to complement the enterprise-facing, feature-rich, Astute LMS, which we are still going to be working on and delivering to our customers with more sophisticated or more complex needs. This is meant to solve that problem of, I want everything in one place and I want to be able to launch quickly, deploy easily and cleanly. Astute has always been our standard enterprise LMS, and we plan to continue to deliver enterprise features there. And actually, on that note, Ruth, I might rope you in here and ask if you don't mind talking to us about some of the highlights that we've been going on with Astute and what's coming up with Astute over the next couple of months.
Oh, absolutely. So Astute is a modern compliance platform, which is really designed to make training easier to manage. So it gives you clear visibility into your training, compliance, and risk assessments all in one location. So you can really see what's being completed, what's outstanding, and actually where attention is needed. So over the past year, we've focused very heavily on improving usability and clarity. And this is based on direct feedback that we've had from our customers. So that includes making it easier to manage learners, kind of expanding automation across the platform, and really understanding compliance without having to dig through complex reports.
And I think we've got incredible feedback from our customers for that over the last couple of months and years. What can we expect over the next few months?
Yes, so one of our biggest updates in the first half of this year is our redesigned instructor-led training experience, and that's going to be launching in May time. And this is really a ground-up rebuild of instructor-led training. It's shaped by how organizations actually deliver face-to-face and virtual training today. And really, the focus has been on simplifying the day-to-day work involved. So whether that's scheduling and booking through to managing training as it runs, we're really making sure that it's tidy and neat. And so the result is kind of a clearer, more consistent experience for everyone using the feature. So that's whether that's an administrator who's setting things up, maybe a trainer that's delivering the sessions, or the learners that are actually taking part in it. Another big update that we have in the first half of the year is our new visual reporting dashboard, and that's planned for June time this year. So reporting, we know, is an area where we've had quite a lot of feedback, particularly around kind of flexibility and how easy it is to actually see what's going on without being locked into kind of a single view. And the new dashboard really introduces customizable layouts with flexible data visualization. So what that means is that users can now choose how information is being presented to them rather than being forced into kind of a fixed chart that's set in front of them. So we're launching with a sizable and growing library of widgets, which actually give kind of different ways to visualize the key data and stats. And we'll continue to add more widgets kind of over time. So the focus here for this particular piece is on clarity, which means that you'll have clear summaries at a glance and the ability to kind of drill into the detail when you actually need it, whether that's for kind of day-to-day monitoring or a deeper kind of reporting insight. Finally, alongside these major releases, a big focus for us in the Astute team this year is continuous improvement across Astute. So that means really taking the existing features and pages and simply making them better. So guided by ongoing client feedback and real world usage, we're really going to try and improve what we have already. We've spent a lot of time improving usability, clarity, and performance. And we're really planning on focusing more in establishing areas of the platform that can benefit kind of further refinement as we move forward. And all of this actually ties back to our focus, which again is helping clients experience exceptional products, not just through new features, but also through an existing platform that continues to kind of evolve over time.
Perfect. So that's the headline story for Astute. It's an enterprise-ready, more usable platform today than it ever has been in the past. We are rebuilding the instructor-led training experience in May. We have the visual reporting dashboard planned for June and a steady program of improvements running throughout the year to keep day-to-day admin significantly simpler. Ruth, I'm gonna keep the spotlight on you for another minute and ask you to switch gears and help us learn a bit more about Omnitrack. I know the Omnitrack team has been working very hard over the last quarter revamping the reporting capabilities, but before we dive into that, as some people here may not yet be familiar with it, can you give us a quick refresher on what Omnitrack is and why our customers are using it?
Of course. So Omnitrack is VinciWorks' centralized compliance data collection tool. So it actually helps organizations to streamline data gathering, follow-ups, approvals, and reporting all in one centralized location. So Omnitrack is flexible, intuitive, and 100% customizable. So that means that businesses can really track, review, analyze, and monitor any compliance task across the organization with ease. So really, Omnitrack is really there to help ensure that compliance is able to operate at the speed of the business.
And what are some of the solutions that clients are currently using Omnitrack for?
There are quite a few here, so it's not going to be one that stands out. The kind of top selling solutions that we had for OmniTrack last year were AML client onboarding workflows, a whole suite of different GDPR workflows, including AI workflows, gifts and hospitality registers. We also have a very kind of special legal compliance suite, which is tailored specifically for law firms. And we've been producing lately many bespoke compliance workflows as well. Again, that's due to the fact that OmniTrack is 100% customizable.
Perfect. So Ruth, let's talk a little bit about the revamped reporting at OmniTrack. What have the development team been working on? What's been cooking? What's new, what's going to be new here?
Yes, there are actually three main elements of reporting that our dev team have been working on. The first one is a chart and dashboard-based reporting system. So this means that you can actually include charts from different forms in order to create a complete report. And it makes it easier to kind of answer specific questions easily or get a broad view across all the data that you have sitting inside the system. The second element is advanced filtering and aggregations. So users can now break down data by time, status, ownership, and other key dimensions to really allow you to fine-tune how your data is being grouped and displayed in order to match your specific reporting needs. The third element that the dev team have been working on is improving sharing with kind of clearer and more controlled access here. So admins, for example, can share reports either as view only or with edit access, and form admins can share with no restrictions at all.
Perfect. And all this has been done not just to allow us to build reports now, but also to build a platform in the future to build further reports on. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's exactly right. Kind of the new model allows us to really expand chart types, enhance the dashboards, and in essence, respond more quickly to customer feedback without being actually constrained by legacy reporting limitations. So really, we've got lots of possibilities here to be able to keep working on this as the customer requests come in.
Perfect. And again, if you wish to join the cab, if you want to be part of that conversation, just let us know. We'd love to continue to build products with you here today. I think actually this sounds quite exciting. My question is, what does the rollout plan look like? What does the timeline look like? When are we going to get this in customers' hands?
Yeah, so actually we are running a pilot at the moment with 5 customers, which I believe actually started this week. And we'll be working closely with them to kind of validate usability, performance, and the real world reporting needs that our clients have. And in March, the new reporting experience is going to be released more broadly to all of our OmniTrack customers. And as part of that release, our OmniTrack support team will be available to guide users as needed. This is kind of an intentionally phased approach, which will allow us to kind of incorporate feedback early and also ensure a smooth rollout for all of our customers.
Excellent. But for existing clients, what happens to their current data that they have?
Nothing is being removed. I feel like I should say that twice. No data is being removed. So all existing reports will remain visible inside of OmniTrack. Existing OmniTrack clients will see a new charts and dashboards tab attached to their system, but the current clients will be able to utilize both the existing reports and the new reporting side by side. And only once our clients are 100% comfortable and fully migrated to the new charts and dashboards tab will they be able to actually request to retire the old reporting inside their OmniTrack system.
Perfect. So just to say it for a third time, they're not losing anything they already have. So what do we think is going to be next after this? Once we've got the reporting up and running in the next few weeks, what's next for the development team?
Sure. So the roadmap is that first we'll kind of continue delivering customer-driven enhancements. So that's kind of prioritizing requests and improvements based on how our clients are actively using OmniTrack in real workflows. And then kind of more strategically, we're investing in enhancing permissions across the OmniTrack system. And that's really the reason for this is to give organizations a much greater flexibility to reflect the real life ways that they're working inside of OmniTrack. So we'll be maintaining strong governance and clarity of ownership and scalability, but adding a few extra permission levels to really allow our clients to utilize OmniTrack to the best of its abilities.
Perfect. Ruth, thank you so much. Your insights are invaluable as always, and it's really great to hear about the next evolution of OmniTrack over the next couple of months. I'd like to continue to invite anyone here to ask any questions, and I'll let you know that we're going to be sharing the recording afterwards again. So if there's something that you want to share with anyone else, please feel free to. Now, there's been one or two questions that I'm going to talk through. The first question we have is, with the LMS portal, can you link with other software so that information is automated? So, for example, linking with an HR software to ensure that new starters or leavers are automatically removed or added. I can start off by saying Astute already does this out of the box. We have Astute integrate with a number of HR systems, and we can also have an AI endpoint for people to add new users or take new users off. The portal LMS will have an AI endpoint at the very, very beginning, so you can add and remove users like that. And later on, we plan to create more sophisticated HR syncs and more sophisticated integrations with other HR platforms. Another question we've received is about conversational learning and the data privacy involved with that. I will say that as a compliance company that offers GDPR and data privacy training, we take this very, very seriously, and I would say possibly one of the strongest data privacy policies for an AI that exists in the industry. All the customer information, all the user and learner information which is used in building the course is kept isolated. It's not used in any way to train future AIs. We are not learning from your responses. We're not using that to build or improve on our models at all. So any answers that the learner gives are kept just that. They are isolated learners and they're not used for anything else. We keep all our data either in the UK or Europe under the strictest GDPR policies, and we allow for any right to removal or anything else that we would need to do. Beyond that, the AI itself does not send that information back to any of the model builders. So we don't pass any information back to Google or any other platforms that we use to train future models. So we really keep everything very, very isolated. This is very much a concept of ethical AI. It's one of the main reasons as well that we've gone for carbon neutral AI. We want to make sure that in no way are we endangering or risking the planet or the data of our users while building out these models. The next time we have a product webinar, which will probably be in about 3 to 6 months, when we have even more new, shiny, interesting things to show off. Thank you all for your time and have a great day.